We like our heroes to be spotless, our great ones to be without blemish. But this is precisely what we do not get in the Bible. With the possible exception of Jesus, virtually all of the people through whom God chooses to work throughout the Bible are flawed people, which is to say, they are exactly like us, sometimes even worse. This pattern of heroes showing their flaws is on full display in the very first story about Abram after his call by God. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. Yesterday we learned that Abraham was a man of faith who trusted God. He left his home to go to a place that God would show him, even though God apparently didn't even tell him where he was going. A pretty good start indeed. But then in the very first episode following Abraham's move to the Promised Land, we see at least one and probably more of Abraham's faults on full display. Here's the story. Now there was a famine in the land, so Abram went down to Egypt to reside there as an alien, for the famine was severe in the land. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarah, "I know well that you are a woman beautiful in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' Then they will kill me, but they will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared on your account." When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. When the officials of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and for her sake he dealt well with Abram. And he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female slaves, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this that you have done to me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and be gone." And Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning him, and they sent him on the way with his wife and all that he had. I don't know which is worse, that Abraham didn't trust God enough to protect him from harm in Egypt, or that he lied to save his own skin, or that in an effort to safeguard himself, he let his wife become one of Pharaoh's wives. The irony here is that at the beginning of this chapter, God had called Abraham and given him a promise, including land and descendants, and Abraham had believed God's promise. But now, in what amounts to the very next breath, Abraham demonstrates that he thinks he has to take matters into his own hands when he goes to Egypt to escape a famine. Surely, having promised Abraham land and descendants, God could be counted upon to keep Abraham safe long enough to fulfill those promises. Abraham, however, doesn't act in this case with the same trust in God that he had demonstrated when he left home and family to go to the land God promised to show him. Now, though, he acts out of fear, and not so much fear for the safety of his family, but rather fear for his own safety, even being willing to lie to protect his own skin, and even being willing to let his own wife be taken into Pharaoh's house. Like I say, I don't know which of these things is worse. But here's what it tells me. Abraham was human. Thoroughly, completely, unquestionably human. The Abraham we meet in Scripture wasn't the product of a storyteller trying his best to put the heroes in the Bible in the very best possible light. There was no attempt to burnish his image, to make him appear greater than he actually was. No handlers to correct him, no PR people to spin the narrative. Just a regular human being with all the flaws and faults as all of the rest of us. As we'll see, this isn't an outlier in the biblical story. Rather, it's pretty typical. No perfect people to be seen here. Only regular schmoes like you and me. And that's the way God proposes to change the world. If you ask me, it is enormously comforting. Tomorrow we continue our look at Abraham and his family in a story where Abraham and Lot have to separate in order to keep the peace. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.